Hello guys. Today I'll be taking you through an algorithm called forward shifting non-numeric key convention method. Um, why would you want to use this algorithm? Sometimes you have a bunch of elements in an array, or you have a hash data structure that you want to query that object through an integer. For example, hash data structure sometimes require you to query objects from the data structure through an integer. For example, we have a class, and then that class has an object of a person. So a person has a name, and then you want to query that object through the name, and you have to convert the name into integers, so the data structure can understand integers. Mind you, I recorded the video without audio, so I am trying to make a voiceover right now. I apologize, maybe next time it's going to be better. Okay, what am I doing right here is I'm illustrating array, and then the array actually starts at 0 index. It goes all the way up to the length of the array, and right here I'm illustrating that if you store data as in terms of objects into an array, you have to use integer to query the data from the hash table, and I'm putting in my name over there and stored in a hash in a hash data structure. Again, I apologize for voiceover. Sometimes it's not matching with what I'm doing on the screen, but anyway, stick with me. This is my second video. Okay, so for example, the name will be the input into the name will be input into the method, and then the method will spit out the integer. And one thing that I want to point out about forward shifting non-numeric key convention is it is very case sensitive, and if you forget to capitalize the first letter, it will give you a different integer, or sometimes if you put in a space in between, maybe first and last name, it will give you a different integer too, compared to when you have to use a word or a name without a space. So right now I am I'm coming up with a method. This method is going to be string to int. Since the class name is string to int, I will put an M, so it differentiates from the class name, or else it will be treated as a constructor. And this method will carry an argument of a string. I'm calling it a name, and let's put in variables inside this method. So when it's being called in the main, it does its job. So one variable that I've put is n, if I can see clearly here, stick with me, and then int, I'm putting in int group is equal to 0. I'm instantiating this to 0, so it is assigned to a value right now, even when the value is 0. Sometimes it makes a difference. So int, I'm putting in integers right now. Int I, since I'm going to be using a while loop here, I have to instantiate a variable I into the method, and then the other variable that I wanted to put is n, that is equal to 1. You see how this comes in. So here I'm putting in the char array that will carry that will actually get the name, the characters of the argument name or the word, and then separate those characters and store them in the char array. The char array actually stores characters of the word, or just characters per se. Okay, here I have to okay, well, here I made a mistake because the char can be equal to the length. I have to tell it where it's going to get the characters from. So name, we're converting name into char array, so it can be stored into the char. And then right here I'm putting in a while loop. This is where all the magic is going to happen. You could use a recursive method, but I actually thought about the speed of the algorithm, and I decided to go with the while loop. The simple the better. Sometimes simple is complicated. We have to keep it simple. While loop, while I is equal to name dot length, of which will result into true because I is equal to 0, and obviously we are going to put in the name variable is going to have characters of which we want to convert to an integer. So group, we want to pack 8 characters into a group. If you don't know about the symbols, you have to look it up online. It is very useful feature or symbol in Java. So group is equal to group plus char of I. This is where we define what characters we want to pack into group. So since we said group is equal to group, and we're packing 8 characters into group, so we want to specify what characters are we putting into a group. Hope it's making sense. Next time I will try to record with the sound. I actually recorded with sound, but it couldn't play, and I think I'll try another method next time. Here we will increment I because we put in 8 characters into the group. We packed 8 characters into the group, so what we have to do, it only makes sense to increment I because I is equal to 0, which means it is starting at the index 0 of the char array. So we want to increment I to another level, so it loops through the name or the word. And right here I am putting in a case, I'm putting in an if statement that will actually make sure that the string is packed. That will make sure that 4 characters are processed, or no more characters, and then we want to add grouping to pseudocode. So this one will make sure that all the characters are processed and the algorithm has finished. So we want to empty all the variables into that are instantiated into the method, so to be prepared for another set of characters if we want to use, if the method has to be used more than one time. So we want to make sure they are empty, or else they'll contain characters from the previous name. So if statement here. Okay, so I don't know why I'm doing here. Again, next time I will record with voice, so I know, so you guys have a clear vision of what is going on. Right now I recorded the video and then started recording the sound or the audio later on. So pseudo, so we are putting group into pseudo. That's why I put in pseudo is equal to pseudo plus group. We are unpacking the group now and adding it to pseudo. And then after that, what we have to do, we have to empty group, or put it back to 0 state where it has no value in it, so that it is prepared for another set of characters. And then after that, we have to put n to 0 too, getting prepared for that, because n is equal to 4 if n f group contains something, set of characters, which means n has also incremented. So I have to instantiate or put n to 0. Or like if the if statement is not being hit, or if there are more characters to be processed in the name over here, we want to go on and process and pack those characters into a group, because the if statement resulted to false. So that means that we have to go back on top and then re-loop and go on and pack the characters into a group. So that's why I put in n is equal to n plus 1. It increments n, go and loops again. So the while loop has ended, and I'm trying to see how this algorithm is going to run. Or should I make it a static void, static int, so that it can return something? Or should I make it so it doesn't return? Should I make it void so it doesn't return anything, but processes the information? Right here I'm pointing on math.absolute, and it simply, if you can read the screen, it simply returns the absolute value of absolute value of a string or a set of characters. Since we have unpacked groups into a pseudo, we will pass pseudo into math.absolute. That returns the value. If it's positive, it returns a value, and if it's negative, it returns the same value passed in there too. Okay, so it looks like our algorithm is well to go, and we just have to test this, because I put in static int, and then it had to return. See how this will work out. If it doesn't work out, then I have to change static int into public void string to int m, so it doesn't return anything, but it processes information, it holds the information. So when we call the same method into the main method, it will get the value, it will print out the value that it has. So this one didn't work out. I have to change something here. String, instantiating the class, making the object of the class, so I can access that method from the main method. I hope you understand what I'm trying to explain. Like I said earlier on, I recorded the video without sound. Well, I recorded with sound, but the sound didn't come out really good, so I'm recording a voiceover. So stick with me. Sometimes we make silly mistakes in programming, where you forget to put a new that instantiates an object. That's when I went back and put the new keyword. Oh yeah, so it is not working here. So I have to go back and put the void. So like I said earlier on, it processes, and I do the system.out.printout the value, because the value couldn't be printed out to the console. but it had the value, but it just couldn't be printed out. There you go. So that is the result of the algorithm, and hope you like this recording, and please comment and send me an email if there's anything you want me to sort out algorithm wise, and I'll be more than happy to take it on. Thank you. Again, watch my channel for more videos. It's just the beginning.